everybody. It's me, Justin J. War, host of the Chicago 60 and the Chicago 60 show on YouTube. And it's time for another edition of Couch Stories. That's right. We're here at Couch Stories. This is where we sit on a couch and talk to the gentleman or lady, in this case it's a gentleman, who was just on the Chicago 60 podcast, and we get to know a little bit more about them, who they are, why do we have them on the podcast, what are they doing, what are they even in Chicago, what are they doing in Chicago, is this person relevant, are they important? All of the answers to those questions is yes. And we're here to learn more about the gentleman who's sitting here to my right so that you can know about him and you can go check him out, follow him, and listen to the amazing stuff that he's doing here in this wonderful city that is Chicago. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest for this edition of Couch Stories, and that is Senor Wilhelm Duke. Just Wilhelm Duke, not Senor, but Wilhelm Duke. Wilhelm Duke, hello.
No senor or sir yet. Maybe I will get knighted.
One day.
One day in time, maybe. Justin J. Ward, thank you for having me. Chicago 60, happy to be here. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, man. Well, let me give some. Well, first of all, I can find it. Cheers
The
to
beer,
you, sir.
Ice House, yes.
Good God. We've been downgraded to Ice House now. We ran out of everything else, so now Ice House it is. But I'll take it. Cheers, bro. All right. The taste of champions right there. Okay. But yeah, man, I'm really excited to have you on this edition of Couch Stories, bro. We just had an amazing podcast.
Yes, we did.
It was so much fun. You spoke with our compatriot, our colleague, our C60 crew guy, Ron Russell, a.k.a. Visa Man. He is a rap hip-hop artist, and well, gee, if he was a rap hip-hop artist and we had you on the podcast, then that makes you a rap hip-hop artist.
Yes, it does. That is correct.
A plus B equals... No, that's not it. So anyway, there's some math equation for this, but that's not the right one.
E equals MC. I'm an MC squared.
You're an MC?
Something like that.
Oh, I love that. He's an MC squared. I love it. But yes, so you go by the name Wilhelm Duke.
Right.
And...
which are my middle names, by the way. Those are my
that.
stage names, but also my birth government middle names. So.
All right. Well, I didn't even know that, so that's dope. That's very cool. But yeah, so for Chicago, this gentleman here, Wilhelm Duke, he is an amazingly talented. I have seen him in person. The kid kills. He crushes. He can spit bars like nobody's mother. I tell you, he is really, really good, and I really think more people should know about you. I've seen you in many instances in many different clubs around the city. You are very kind to invite me, and when I have nothing else going on and when I want to go do something fun, I'm always like, I hope Eric or Wilhelm Duke has a fucking show so I
and
can
you
go
bring
do something
people.
fun.
So
and
I
I bring
that
people.
too. You bring new people. So.
I do, yeah. And I mean, it's because people should know about you, and that's why we're having you here on the podcast and here in Couch Stories. So without further ado, let me stop buttering you up and let's talk to you about who you are and let's get to know you. Yeah. Okay. So Wilhelm Duke here. All right. First of all, where are you from?
So
give me the scoop here.
I've lived in Chicago since 2012.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
Originally I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, good old Nebraska boy.
And there's like almost no hip hop scene or culture there. There is a very small one, over the last few years that's starting to kind of come together, but I had to move to Chicago to pursue this rap dream that I have. My father is an immigrant from Sweden, so I did, up until I was 12 years old, summers and Christmases, spent a lot of time in Scandinavia. I always say that just so that, me being some guy from the corn state isn't the only thing that I'm going on, culturally speaking.
You're very
tall. But I am from Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah,
you're a very tall man for Sweden.
Right.
Yes, it makes sense. I am very believing that you are from Sweden. That is good.
The accent. No, you got the accent.
I watched Vikings.
History Channel, shout out.
History Channel and other shows. Okay, actually, there's a much better show on I believe Netflix. It's called, oh shoot, I forgot the name of it. Oh, it's called Norseman. If you haven't seen this show, you have to check it out, dude. It's basically
I haven't seen that.
It's like really good sarcastic humor, like dry humor. and it's just like they just like I don't want to get too much into this, but it's really
Wait,
just
it's a
funny.
Viking comedy.
It's basically a Viking comedy, yeah. They basically satire the Viking shows. They're like, why do you not want to wear the helmet, Gringo? Well, because the horns are not big enough for this particular armor. I need a better armor. I don't know. I think it is a fashion statement, you know, to
Right,
have
we
the
didn't actually
horns.
have horns
We don't
on our helmets.
it's
We
not-
use them to drink mead
That's right.
and brews.
Is not exactly very safe to be running down a battlefield with horns on your head.
And if we cheated on our wives, they could beat us and
they
take
are,
the estate.
They are about as big as us.
Lots of muscles. No, real
I love that you went with
real
that.
stuff.
That's
No,
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! All right, so I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background before I get into a couple other questions here. We met at Sparrow. So
Right. Yeah. Cocktail
we-
lounge in the Gold Coast of Chicago, Illinois.
an amazing rum cocktail lounge. I cannot say better things about it as a bar. It is amazing. I mean, I walked in there. I mean, my real quick backstory is I quit my one sales job, tried to pursue acting comedy full time. Ended up working in a bar. I was at a really bad bar. At least it was bad to work at. I won't mention it because it is fun to go to. But then when I went in to go interview with Paul, who's the manager there, I walked in there. I'm like, this is the bar, man. If I'm gonna work in a bar, this is the bar. Because I wanted to become a real bartender. You know, at the time I was like, if I'm gonna bartend, I'm gonna do real cocktails, real shit. So I was there, and so you were the doorman there. I was a bar back, and we would just talk. We would end shifts and we would just talk and goof around.
Yeah,
and
just shoot the shit every single night that we worked.
But the big thing was like you were like, hey, I'm a rap hip hop artist. I'm trying to like make it, and I was like, I'm trying to fucking start my comedy and podcast, and we bonded on that.
We
That's how
had
know each
talked about working together, helping each other out. You know,
Right.
the cross promo with his podcast, his comedy, my rapping and emceeing. For quite some time, I can't even remember when you started at Sparrow. Now it wasn't
June or
2019.
July, one of those, I think.
It was 2018.
It was 2018.
Right. Damn.
Yeah,
Time flies.
time flies. So we've known each other for about a year now.
Over. Well,
Over a
it's
little
yeah,
over
it's
a
gotta
year
be
now.
over.
A little
yeah,
over a
yeah.
year now. Yeah, you're a fantastic gentleman.
Thank you.
And that's why we want to get to know a little bit more about you. So, so you're from Nebraska. You're Swedish, that we just found out. Here's the big thing. So, I don't think this is going to be a shocker to you, or to me, or anybody else watching. But you're white.
Right.
Your skin is white.
Yes, it is
And-
porcelain.
And now that we know you're from Sweden, you're very white.
Yeah.
Why hip hop, man? What about it?
So just real quick backstory. My mother taught in the urban school system in Omaha, Nebraska, so public schools. The public school system in Omaha, Nebraska is predominantly where the majority of the African Americans go to school. I was in a parochial school, a Catholic school.
Good
but
old Catholics.
my mother yanked me out of St. Cecilius of the Catholic school right before I turned 12, which I would have been in 6th grade because my mother was quite weary at the time about the whole priests pedophilia thing. So she put me in the school
You
that
okay?
she
Yeah,
put
yeah,
me,
yeah, for
and
sure,
it is
for sure.
it
It was
is
a thing.
honestly
It was a
hilarious
thing,
because every
for
time
sure.
it is funny.
Yeah.
So she put me in the school that she taught in, which was Monroe Middle School in Omaha, Nebraska, and right away it was like I immersed myself. It's like I'm listening to Jay-Z's Black album, I'm listening to T.I., and then I'm listening to like Jibs and Chingy, but
Yeah.
and then I'm like the white guy on the basketball team. So basically because of proximity and just being an open-minded individual that loves to learn about people, rap and hip hop was like that was just default, like de facto, like it, I
Nice.
just fell into it pretty much.
Just fell into it because of that. That's very interesting, actually. So what was it? I mean, was it just the fact that being in the urban environment there, like that's what all the kids were listening to, so like you just naturally picked it up, or was there something also about it that you were drawn to? I mean, obviously, look, we're sometimes a product of our environments, right? But at the same time, there can be things in your environment that a lot of people are doing, but you might gravitate to other things. So was there something else about the art form of rap and hip hop that really intrigued you and you kind of embraced it while you were in that environment as well, or?
Yeah, I would say two things. So one thing is the idea of like rappers were always talking about their hardships or what they experienced and flipping that into something cool. So like rappers were cool, right? But within rap, you can also say the most, like you can say the most amount of words or lyrics or lines, or you can have a lot of message jam packed into like 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, of a song. So it was kind of this idea that at least I was interpreting or growing up like, oh my gosh, like these rappers are like they're saying a whole lot of stuff and they're really cool. I want to be able to say things and have it be meaningful and also just have this like kind of this cool factor, especially because growing up is hard, school is tough, bullies, you're trying to figure out where you fit in, and rappers seem to stand out as much as they kids want to fit in, but rappers seem to like they just stand out. So I really identified with that type of ambition, basically. So.
Okay, that's cool. So it was something about kind of making a name for yourself while not being able to stand out from the crowd that kind of also got you interested in it a little bit.
Yeah.
You were trying to go for the honeys, weren't you? You wanted the honeys.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what do men do in this world than try to impress the women? And it's like, for me, it was like, well, I can do the like to impress the girls.
We like the women, folk, yes.
Right.
Oh my God, that's pretty funny. So it started basically when you were in school in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And then when did you move to? You said in 2012. You said
So,
in 2012
yeah,
you moved. So,
so
how did that? Okay, here's the thing. Well, say what you're going to say there, and then I have a question.
So basketball was my pride and joy, my passion.
Oh, no
I thought I was
shit.
going to play college ball, but
Oh wow. Well, you are tall. How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
Okay, well that makes sense.
But when I realized that basketball was that reality was closing itself in on me, I was like, well, I love music, I love hip hop, I love rap. When I finally, senior year 2011, I quit the varsity basketball team 2 weeks into the season. We hadn't even had our first game. We were just practicing. I quit, told my mom that, yeah, I want to rap. If I'm going to go to college, that's fine, but I'm going to rap. And because I can, what I told my mom was that I can affect a lot more people's lives and livelihoods through music and through art and creativity than I can putting on some type of physical display of skill within basketball.
Right.
So I quit basketball. I took up rap as my mantle, and then, here we are.
There you go. All right. Now, when you moved to Chicago, and so you got this kind of love and passion for hip hop and rap, and you moved in 2012. What was the transition like? Did you notice differences? I would have to imagine there were differences.
A lot of
so
differences.
what were some of the things you witnessed that were different?
I was just a deer in the headlights. Literally and figuratively speaking, Chicago was a huge city. It's a lot smaller now. But at the time, 2012, being 19 years old, Chicago was a huge city. Everybody that I ran into seemed to know a lot more about hip-hop and rap than I did. So I was just trying to be a sponge, soak in everything that I could. I recorded a lot of music. I released a lot of music. That music you can't find anymore. That was back in the day.
It's under wraps.
Right. That's you're going through the growing process, trying to figure out the craft as an artist.
Right.
No, I mean, looking back on it, is I was kind of being an idiot, just bumbling around from here to there, but always learning, and always trying to get better at the craft of rap, whether or not I was very good at the time.
Sure.
At all. So.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the important part is to constantly develop and improve. And when I can imagine if you're a younger artist, I mean, you just like life in general, you just don't have as much life experience, so you're only going to be able to talk about specific things. You're only going to be able to rap about specific things. But as you get older, get the more life experience, there's more stuff you can rap about. Well, what were some? Was there anything like specific when you moved to Chicago from like Nebraska, or like Like holy, like was the talent like that much better? I mean, was there anything like that where you're like, holy shit, beyond just like the culture shock of being like, oh my god, these people know way more than me? Was there anything like, oh shit, I gotta step up my game? Like
There
these
was
cats.
a lot of talent, but there were also a lot of cats where I was just jaded and like, oh, I'm better than them, right? Like I
Right,
would see them
right.
do, oh, I can, but over the years I've kind of lost that competitive edge and been more just about how can we make this like a productive business transaction between
Yeah.
all of the rappers in the room or what have you. But no, there was a lot of talent here in Chicago. There were also a lot of kids that I didn't think were talented that were making considerable moves, and that was also confusing because I didn't understand. When I was a 19-year-old kid, I didn't understand the whole like connection between like, okay, if you have money, you can do this. If you have talent, you can do this.
Right.
And just because you have a lot of talent doesn't mean you can do this if you have no money.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Yes, money helps.
absolutely.
It helps to have the money.
And a lot of it.
Yes. So what was something? Was there anything that you found you had to change about what you were doing in Nebraska to what you now have to do here in Chicago?
Well, at the time, yeah, I thought I had to have a crazy, wild image.
Really?
There was a time when I would walk around with like purple jeans,
Oh my lord!
a denim vest jacket with my name on the back of it, a cowboy hat, and blonde plait braids down to my shoulder. Which, by the way, I still rock the plait braids down to my shoulders if I get my hair long enough. But my sister is a comedian and actress in LA, and she loves to cut my hair whenever she gets the chance. That's another story, another topic for another time. But yeah, no, when I first got to Chicago and I see all the rappers that are blowing up on the internet and making careers, it's like I got lost in the sauce, so to speak, and I was really like, oh, I gotta have this style, I gotta look this way, or I gotta present myself. And now over time I've realized that doesn't matter. It's all about making a fantastic sonic product.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
that's where I'm at now.
So
basically.
it's gone more for you from, and I would say this probably comes with age and wisdom. It's gotten more from, oh, I'm gonna get the image, I want to stand out. People are noticing rappers and whatnot, and it moved more towards, I am loving the art form, the craft, and I want to just work on
Absolutely.
that itself.
Did
Did you notice that transition in yourself, or was it always about the art?
I didn't notice it at the time. Looking back, I realized, okay, yeah, there were like gradually over time, I'm not caring so much about what I think I should project myself as, and just
Sure.
caring more about how I rap, how I sound, what I'm talking about, and the musical product, and less about what I'm doing, who I'm working with, who has clout or fame or success,
Right.
and just throwing all that out the window and just focusing on myself, what I can do well, and how I can build and do well with others that are, roughly in the same boat as myself, trying to get
trying
better
to make
and do
it,
well.
trying to get it. Yeah, yeah. Well, here's something I'm curious about. So I mean, when I'm doing improv comedy, or if I'm doing some comedy stuff or whatever, I'm trying to come up with material. So for you, where does your source of material and inspiration come from? Because I've heard you rap, and I mean, you're good, very, very good. But where, and sometimes you are rapping so fast, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I'm gonna be
But that's
honest.
good. That's good.
I don't know what the fuck. I'm just like, this guy sounds lyrical. I'll go with it. But where do you get your source of inspiration for? Because just like a stand-up comic or anything, you got to be writing, right?
Mm.
So where does that? Where do you find a lot of your inspiration source material comes from?
I would say history and conspiracy. I like to,
I was
regardless
wondering. Yeah.
regardless of what
Okay.
I'm talking about, I always like to weave in and interlay concepts about history that I think are important to sprinkle in, or things about conspiracies that I think are important for people to like. For example, if I could make a pop record, but it had okay, here we go.
All right, I'm into
One
it.
of my
Let's go.
one of my favorite records of all time is
Yeah.
Californication by
Sure.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Sure, great.
And they have a line in there that says, "Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement." So if I could make pop records and sprinkle in lines about conspiratorial topics that were to evoke some type of mental reaction within you, then I came here to do what I had to do, basically. So I draw a lot from history. I draw a lot from hot conspiracies or ones that I'm into reading about at the time. Other than that, I mean, life experience, what's going on in my personal life, how certain cynicisms that I have of the music industry or maybe the current social political climate. Anything that I can talk about, I'll definitely like to put in a record, because I like to stray away from cliche topics. Like I don't really like to make records about love or relationships. I will, but it's not my go-to. I don't just sit, every time I sit down to write or make a song, it's not, I'm not talking about a woman or a past, really, it's not
Right.
really my forte.
You're not Taylor Swift.
Right. Not Taylor Swift. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. No, but I really like to make people think. If I can get you to groove and I get you to think at the same time, then I'm doing something right.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I and that's why I like listening to your stuff, and I was curious about that because I've heard some nuggets in your stuff about that, so I was curious a little bit about that. But yeah, that's a lofty goal, I think, and that's that's what we try and do on our podcast. We try to make people laugh, but also we can inform them and get them to know about cool people like you and go check out your stuff. Or learn about some of the funny, kooky stories we talk about on the podcast, and if they're interested, they want to learn a little bit more, and that's kind of, and learn about this amazing city we have in Chicago. That's the goal of that. So I think that's cool that you're trying to do that with your music. Are you a fan? I mean, you're saying that you you throw stuff in history. Would you consider yourself a fan of history per se? Because
history and what I think really happened.
Got it. Because I mean,
alternative history.
I love history, but most people hate history. So you're a fan of it then?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite time period?
Well, right now, okay, so my upcoming record that's being dropped on November the 23rd is called The Robber Baron. And the Robber Baron is a reference to the Gilded Age, which is the 1850s through the late 1890s. And the Robber Barons were basically white individuals that grew to extreme wealth and power through a variety of industries, namely like oil or gold or timber or transportation, like
the
trains.
Rockefellers.
Yeah, the Rockefellers,
the
the
Morgans,
the Carnegie Mellons.
Yes.
So the reason why my record on the 23rd is called The Robber Baron, it's a reference and an homage to that sort of, but it's also, I'm kind of shining light on the idea that rappers in modern day America are like modern robber barons. Someone like Jay-Z who can go from hanging out in Bronx and selling crack in hallways to being a partner in the NFL. That's acquired nobility. Like the term robber baron comes from the idea, well, a baron is of noble birth, but if you're a robber baron, then you acquired nobility through the means of capitalism.
Correct.
Yes. And I am a capitalist. I do think that people should be able to make their own wealth and get their own money in this life. At the same time, I realize that I'm not a rich robber baron, and there are a lot of not yet, and there are a lot of problems that come with capitalism and the pursuit of money, which I do kind of explore those different philosophies in the record. But yeah, the Gilded Age right now, from 1850 to late 1890s, is definitely an interesting period of time. Highly recommend.
Well, that's interesting because okay, so that is the term from that time period. But so one of the term from my favorite period in history is Roman history. That they would call that a novus homo. And I didn't even know that. Which sounds gayer than it is.
A novus homo.
A novus homo, yeah.
So that's Latin. You heard it here first. Chicago
basically,
60.
That's right. It's Latin for basically a new man. So like Cicero, who was one of the greatest orators of probably all time, or at least definitely of the Hellenic and Roman time period, he was a novus homo. And there are several other senators that came up, and they would be granted that title if they didn't come from the nobility. Somewhat basically the same thing as what you're saying about. But I would agree with you about what you're saying in regards to the producers and rap hip hop artists such as the Jay-Z's and the Dr. Dre's and all that, and Ice Cubes, et cetera, et cetera. They I mean, there's already plenty of documentary material and film material, documenting their rise, and now they're, you know, running this whole thing that you're in,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, they're like
You
the
know?
top. Some of the top dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So that's interesting that you've chosen that title. It's very cool, actually.
Thank you, thank you. I hope
It is.
it'll definitely get misconstrued depending on your mindset, but
Right.
that it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, you got to produce and do the things that you want to do for the way it is. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, okay, very cool. That was very interesting. Well, since you brought up well, you already mentioned about your new album, which was one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
But your new album, and yeah, feel free to adjust that however you want. But November 23rd, it's coming out. Now I don't really know anything about albums anymore, because now when people say albums are different than what it used to mean back in the olden times. But like, how many tracks? You have
So
a
it's
favorite track?
It's seven
What's going on?
7 tracks, 17 minutes long. It's technically, I guess it's technically still an extended playlist, but I mean, I call it an album because to me it feels more like an album, even though
Sure.
it's a shorter.
No, it's an album for sure.
But I like project. It's a 7-song project. It's 17 minutes long, and this is not the last that we're gonna hear about the idea of the robber baron. I'm definitely gonna have like follow up sequels, consecutive releases to explore more philosophies about the idea of the robber baron and modern day capitalism. But yeah, my debut project as Wilhelm Duke, the robber baron, comes out November 23rd. It'll be streaming everywhere, and I also have a listening party on the November the 16th at Grassroots Chicago, and yeah.
Nice. All right, November 23rd.
Oh, and fully produced by Orlando Coolidge, a.k.a. B. Water of Slump Gang 777. Orlando Coolidge is a fantastic MC and producer in the city of Chicago, and he fully produced this entire record. So,
All right. Well, shout out to that guy.
Orlando Coolidge.
Orlando Coolidge. All right. Sounds cool. Because it's cool.
No, he's very
Ridge.
talented gentleman.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. No, it sounds like it. That's fantastic. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I want to get to one more question about that in particular, and that would be, so you do some shows and things, and I've seen some of your shows. So what is it about? I mean, I feel like just like stand-up comedians who have to go do open mics and things like that, like that's just a thing that they have to do. And I'm curious to know, like, what's the show vibe like? What's your favorite part of doing shows like that? Because I feel like stand-ups have to go do open mics and like test things out, but for a rap hip-hop artist like yourself, what gets you going for those shows? I mean, I feel like you have to do those to get people to know you and things like that, right?
You absolutely have to do open mics. I used to have a very different mentality when I was younger, and the mentality was very closed-minded and jaded. And I used to think that, like, oh, if you didn't have a lot of people at your show coming to support you, like, why would you even perform? Like, why would you perform for a room of 5 people at an open mic, yada yada yada? But now I realize that if you're really about your craft and being true to yourself, you will perform if it's 0 or 1 million, and you absolutely need to do open mics because you discover new people that will be fans of you or artists that you can collaborate with, and also it's a way to sharpen the skills, get better at what you're doing. If you're not a successful or on or signed artist or comedian for that matter, and you're not doing open mics, then it's like I question what you think you're doing when you say you're a rapper, for example.
Sure.
Yeah. If at the very least you're hitting open mics weekly, then it's like, okay, yeah, no, like you're working towards something. I can see that, and I can respect that.
Nice. So. Okay. Makes sense. That was what I was curious about the most, because I just saw that kind of connection, and I was curious if it's similar in the hip-hop game as it is like in the comedy game, because you got to constantly be out there networking, meeting people.
Depends on who you ask, but I would say yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's imperative.
Okay.
Like pertinent, too.
Okay. Well, let's move into this. What do you like to do when you're not rapping?
So I guess my medium of consuming, I like video games when I'm
Yeah?
not. Yeah, because when I watch movies or I listen to records, I'm always like thinking of like what I'm doing as a recording artist. But when I'm playing video games, specifically lately Rocket League, I'm kind of just lost in it, and I don't really think too hard about my productivity as an artist or whatnot. I can kind of just enjoy it for what it is and not break down all the aspects of it. Like, you know, I'm sure you as a comedian, if you're seeing another comedian, you probably can enjoy it, but you're also probably being to a level, you know, you're scrutinizing the set and how the comedian interacts with the audience and, you know, the mannerisms and, you know, the punchlines, the stories, how they set things up. So, no, when I'm not working on my craft, I'll, you know, pop in PS4.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. I would love to be able to play video games. I don't. Well, we have some ideas, and we've got Norm here in the booth who's producing this and produces a lot of the shows for us. But it's funny because he's got a Twitch stream that he's using. What's your Twitch? Winter Robots is the Twitch stream for Norm and his girlfriend Sarah, and they also do it under the C60 brand, which is cool. But we're trying to do something with like Madden games for like the Bears and shit like that.
I love
That's
Madden.
huge. It's a huge
Madden
thing.
2005 was one of the best games of all time. Now, if you're lonely, you'll know I'm here waiting for you. And Ray Lewis is on the cover, and you just going to like sack like the quarterback 15 times in a game.
For sure.
Like,
that was
juice your character up. No,
absolutely. Well, it's intense now, man. Like the video gaming and everything. There's so many ways you can make money off of it now. I mean, the whole adage back in the olden times when moms used to say you can't, you know, stop playing video games, you can't make money off of that. Well, fuck you, Mom. Yes, I can now. I certainly can. It's crazy. So
people like Ninja are just like, they really
unreal.
show you like what can happen in this world.
100%. It's crazy stuff. And but you know, I don't even get around to being able to do that unless we do this project where we play this Madden stuff. But I've been fascinating watching some of these guys on like YouTube and whatnot play games like this, and then they've got all these subscribers and they're just playing games. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like if I play a video game, I just want to relax, like take my mind off of things.
Doesn't sound very relaxing if you have a Twitch streaming and you have thousands of people watching you, and they're like, you know, if you mess up, then they're upset.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. I talked to Norm about that. We'll have to have him on a couch story at some point, but. I find that interesting. So, but that's cool. So you like to unwind a little bit and play some video games and shit like that. That's cool. Because there's more to people, folks, than just their craft. We are human beings. We entertain you, but we also must be entertained ourselves.
Very true.
It's very true. You need your downtime. But okay, so this is good. I wanted to now. We're gonna get to our. So we've learned a little bit about you. Okay, actually, you know what? One last thing before we get into the lightning round. The lightning round. What are your next shows coming up? Do a quick shout out. What's your next shows?
Okay, so November the 16th at Grassroots Chicago. That's 1430 West Chicago Avenue. Myself, Wilhelm Duke, will be having an EP listening and performance party for the Robber Baron. So again, that's November the 16th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Grassroots Chicago, which is located at 1430 West Chicago Avenue. Wilhelm Duke, the Robber Baron. There's going to be free food, free drink. There's going to be discounts on Grassroots Chicago merchandise. I'm going to have a couple guest featured artists, people from Ever Evolve, the collective that I'm a part of, and then True Classic from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And then November the 23rd, it's not really correlated with Chicago, but I'll be going back home to Omaha, Nebraska to do another release show for some of the people back home, and yeah.
All right.
That's all I got right now. So
perfect. Well, that's the most important thing, and you will share with us the flyers or anything like that. So we can post it.
I already got all the flyers ready to go. So
perfect, because this will be up. This will be up this week, and people who listen will know about it. But people forget.
Right.
So we're gonna blast
I'll make sure
out.
to text you that tonight. Then once.
Yes, we will do that and make sure people know about it. But with that, Mr. Wilhelm Duke,
Woo!
Mr. Duke, if you will.
The lightning round.
It is time for the lightning round. Lightning round.
Let's get it.
Eventually, we're gonna have like a cool graphic and little video thing. Exactly. Yeah.
Like the guest just gets
That's right.
zapped.
That's right.
Like-
It's just like it's just like Nickelodeon Guts or whatever. You're gonna get slime. Slime
Slime,
falls from the
slime.
ceiling. Yes.
But
Yes.
instead it's getting electrified.
We get a guy who Norm is gonna dress up like Zeus and come in a toga and like
Uh-oh.
throw fake lightning bolts at you.
Thunderbolts. Maybe you'll
The
turn into a
lightning
swan.
round. Yeah, but my cousin, shout out to Jason J. War and Nicholas J. War. They're my cousins, and they do a lot of the graphic arts
Oh, thank you.
and photos for the Chicago 60s, so shout out to them. But, yeah, they're working on that right now for us. But until then, it's time. You just get my dumb ass going, the lightning round. And let's get going. Are you ready?
Let's go. Let's go.
Senor
I'm trying to do as
Wilhelm
fast
Duke?
as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it.
All right, here we go. Some of them will be easier than others, but here we
Alrighty,
go.
alrighty.
Answer truthfully and honestly, and as fast as you would like. Here we go. Ready? Cubs socks.
I'll say Sox, but I had the funnest time watching the Cubs win the World Series, and then I went over to Wrigleyville and just like ran around going wild. So, but I'll go with Sox.
Okay. All right. He went to the south side. He goes for socks. Okay, cool. Favorite Chicago food? Do you like the Chicago hot dog or an Italian beef or deep dish? 1, 2, 3.
I'll have to go with none of those. I do like Chicago street food. I'll say pizza puff or
Wow.
or maybe a gyro that's not quite Greek gyro and a little bit more Chicago. I don't even know what that means in terms of condiments. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of the
What if you put a
Italian beef.
Pizza puff in a gyro.
I could rock with it. I used to go to Johnny O's on the south side in Bridgeport and get their pizza puff. So
Oh
that's
my
like
God.
my go-to Chicago street
Okay.
food.
All right. Fine. Well, now I feel like this next one's gonna be silly, but Portillo's or Al's beef. If you have to get an Italian beef,
We'll see. I've been to Portillo's more. They have those cake shakes,
they do.
which are bomb. Portillo's.
Okay, Portillo's it is.
Portillo's is a weird place, though. Yeah.
It is. It is. It is a bit of. That is true. It's true. It doesn't know what decade it wants to be in.
Right.
The Riverwalk or the beach.
Wow, that's really hard. Well, the Riverwalk it seems to get more touristy and European as the summers go by.
You mean people from Sweden go there?
Right, the French or the Swedes that don't tip.
Hello.
Or but the beach. Okay, I'm gonna go with the beach because I can actually take a dip in the water at the beach, and I can't at the Riverwalk.
That is true. That you definitely don't want to be taking a dip in the river.
No.
That's for sure. Okay, Lakeshore Drive or Michigan Ave.
Lakeshore Drive.
Okay.
Lakeshore Drive with a blunt in the car. Lakeshore Drive.
Fair enough.
Hands down, hands
I like
down.
it. I like it.
Hands
I like it. I like it. Okay, let's get food stuff done. Lou Malnati's deep dish or Giordano's?
I just had Giordano's yesterday, but I have to go with Lou Malnati's. But also, on another note, check out Rinaldi's in Lakeview if you like Giordano's or Lou Malnati's. But Lou Malnati's.
True. That is okay. Very good. You know your shit. Norm.
Rinaldi's After Dark. Did you just say? Yep. Shout out to my good friends Benny, Nikki, and Ricky who run that fine establishment over there. So.
Right. Well, that just sounds like a Three's Company reboot series right there. But okay, here we go. Jesus. All right. Sears or Willis Tower? Don't screw this up.
Sears.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
'cause
Good.
it's
All right.
like,
Good.
What the f- is a Willis? Is that a Bruce Willis?
Yes, Bruce Willis bought the Sears Tower and named it after him. We all hate him, and he's dying
gonna
hard.
die.
He's dying hard very soon in this city, at least. Okay, good. Now that you answered that one correctly, Sears Tower or John Hancock?
Well, I was just in the John Hancock Tower on the 93rd floor because my boss my owner of my company, I'm gonna go with Hancock because I was 93 floors up and that shit was crazy.
Nice. Oh, you
So-
like the signature room? Are you saying with the drinks?
No,
and
it
everything, or
was
just-
right under or above the signature room. It's a penthouse that the
Oh.
whole floor is his. It was wild. It was a company party where they're
Wow.
like, hey,
All right.
come and enjoy the, my views because I'm the owner of this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Some
let
capitalist
me, let
shit,
me
you know
show
what I'm
off. Okay.
Shout out Scott Kluth. But.
All right. Do you prefer downtown or do you prefer hanging out in the neighborhoods?
I love the energy and feeling of downtown, but it's like I'm not really the neighborhoods.
The neighborhoods?
Yeah.
He
I
starts
love
off going downtown.
But everyone who's Chicago is like downtown's not Chicago.
Right.
Neighborhoods.
The hoods. All right, cool. Which one's your favorite hood?
Pilsen.
Ooh. All right.
My brother's lived in Pilsen since 2007. Yeah, definitely Pilsen.
That's a good hood.
Or McKinley Park.
All right, well, we're going to go take your first answer. So
Pilsen.
you said Pilsen, bitch. So that was the one you said.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
All right, here we go. Your favorite thing to do in the city?
Restaurant connoisseur. Yeah, like going to a restaurant I haven't been before because I want to check out their menu, some of their drafts, or their good people and staff. So yeah, going to a restaurant.
All right, so trying out restaurants.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Okay, cool. What's your favorite sport?
Basketball.
Favorite Chicago team?
Bulls.
Okay, that was easy. A non-rap hip hop related music genre that you like?
Genre?
Yes.
Been listening to a lot of Cage the Elephant and Lana Del Rey, so alternative rock, industrial 90s rock, or alternative pop.
Okay, cool. I like that. I'm into that. Are you a club kind of guy or are you a dive bar kind of guy?
I love to dance, but I cannot stand the club, so I'll go with dive bar.
Okay, good man. I'm the same way now, particularly. Okay, here's a really good one. Chance the Rapper or Kanye?
Kanye. No.
Ooh,
There's not even an argument. Like
Oh.
Kanye, I don't care what that man says. It's like he's done more for the culture and hip hop and the way people think than Chance the Rapper has done so far. Sorry to say, that's just facts.
Okay,
That's
all
just
right.
facts. Kanye is way more influential and prolific than Chance the Rapper.
Okay, I'm into it. I'm into it. All right, here we go. Best. Here's this is. I want to start with this one first. Advice you got moving to Chicago that you wish you had that you didn't have.
Don't think that the city's such a hard, grimy, like gonna kill you type gangster city. Like, be less fearful. Be more open-minded. Be less fearful. Don't think that Chicago's like this hard, tough, gonna chew you up and spit you out type place. Because I think we kind of like hype that up.
Okay, yeah, for sure, for sure. Best advice in general you have ever received in your entire life.
Okay, here we go. Everyone you will ever meet knows something that you don't. Don't judge a book by its cover, and because of that, be open-minded with everyone that you meet. Nice. Everybody knows something that you don't, so everyone has something worthwhile to tell you that you can learn from.
Gotcha. Okay. Improv or traditional theater in Chicago?
I have a love for traditional theater, but I'd probably go see the improv show.
Okay.
In fact, yeah, because I've only been to improv and comedy shows. I haven't even been to a traditional play here in the city.
Okay. Have you been to the I.O.?
No.
Okay, then that question's out of the lightning round. All right, so then the last question I have for you, Mr. Wilhelm Duke.
Let's get it.
This
Justin
is
J.
the
Ward.
last question of every lightning round that I like to ask folks. What is one piece of advice you would give to somebody else who has never been to Chicago and is either moving here or coming to visit here? What piece of advice would you give that person about Chicago?
If you are going to have a car in the city, try to get more acclimated with the mapping of the city and the navigation. But if you're going to have a car in the city, understand the parking laws, rules, violations, and understand how the street signs work and where you can park, because parking tickets in this city are extortionist. They're a bitch. And if you don't know how to read signage and you don't understand the whole parking city system, like, you will get screwed. So
Preach.
if you have a car in this city, learn that.
Preach. 100%. That is good advice to give to anybody. And with that, Wilhelm Duke, my buddy, my friend, you made it through an episode of Couch Stories, my man.
Thank you, Justin J. Ward.
Absolutely.
Chicago 60. I'm Wilhelm Duke. This has been a pleasure. I've had a great time.
Excellent. Okay, well, it's not done until I end it, but I
my
appreciate
bad,
it.
my bad. I'm like over here like doing my
ending.
This is improv. I'm improvising.
He's like, I'm out, bitches. No, but I really appreciate you coming on and shit, man. I love that. Again, I mean, I love like this microphone has been dipping out of you.
Yeah, it's like it
I felt
keeps getting
so bad.
smaller.
There's a knob there and shit. I love it, but yeah, man. Just do what you need to do. But where can people find you? Because if they didn't listen to the podcast, you schmucks, go listen to the podcast. But if they didn't listen to it, where can they find you watching and listening to this?
So my name is Wilhelm Duke. That's Wilhelm, space, second word, Duke, Duke. You can find Wilhelm Duke everywhere. I'm streaming everywhere. I'm on every social media platform. The only discrepancy is that on Twitter, I am Wilhelm Duke with that digit 7 tagged on the end of it. So Wilhelm Duke, literally everywhere. I'm streaming everywhere. YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram. Come find me.
There you go. Go follow him and go listen to his stuff. We're going to post some of his music in the upcoming weeks. All of the videos from here. This episode, a lot from this gentleman here. It'll be coming out over the next couple of weeks. Go follow this man. Go listen to him. Follow and support him. Help him in his career because, I mean, you're going to enjoy listening to him. I enjoy listening to him. If you enjoy listening to me, it'll have no bearing on whether or not you will like him. You'll probably like him more than me. But go do it. It'll be great. He is amazing. He is amazing. So go do that for us, please. And if you also liked listening to this segment and like what you see from the Chicago 60 in general, please go to Facebook if you're watching it there and like and follow us there, please. Also, if you're on YouTube, which is where you're probably watching this because this is usually only on YouTube, hit the subscribe and the notification bell buttons, please, because the more you help us out, the more subscribers. We just hit 100 subscribers. We're so happy about that. We're trying to get to 500 and then 1,000 and then 1,000,000 in that order. So please, just like that, please help us out and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell because we have all kinds of sketch comedy coming out, all kinds of things. We're doing a new segment because we're going to Toronto for one of our sketch films that was selected for the Toronto Comedy Film Festival. We are so pumped for that. So we're coming out with a new segment for that, which we'll announce later. So we have so much content coming out, but you will miss all of it if you are not subscribed to YouTube and you don't hit the notification bell. So please go do that. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please also subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Because when you leave us a 5-star review, it lets us know that you're enjoying the content that you're hearing. And if you don't, then we'll fix it. But if you ideally give us a 5-star review and it helps us with the rankings when people look up Chicago, we really would help that because we want people to know more amazing people like Wilhelm Duke and all the other guests we'll have on here, local Chicago artists, musicians, comedians who are trying to make it, trying to entertain you, help them entertain you by listening to our podcast and knowing about them and knowing where to go see them, like Wilhelm Duke Show on November 16th, which we will talk about. So please go do that on iTunes. We're going to be on Spotify, so check us out on Spotify. At the end of the year, we'll be on there. We're going to have a Patreon account. We're going to have a website. Oh, my God, there's so many things. So just please go to all those social media platforms and help us out. Instagram, Chicago_60, Chicago_60. Go to those platforms, subscribe, like, follow, share our shit. Help us help you about knowing what to do in this wonderful city that we call Chicago. And with that, that is another edition of Couch Stories. And Eric, we have to end every episode of anything we do with Chicago 60 the exact same way. Do you remember what we did on the podcast, how we ended the show? With
right.
our favorite phrase?
Right. And F the... Right.
Yeah, we got it? Are you good?
Wait,
okay.
What was it? Right. Yeah.
I'm apparently the loudest whisperer of all
No,
time.
you're not.
Whatever.
No one heard it.
Okay, ready?
No one heard it.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Bear down and fuck the Packers.
All right, everybody. Thank you again to Wilhelm Duke. Thank you for watching and listening. And we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.